This government will never allow people who come here illegally by boat to gain permanent residency in Australia.
We are claiming back for Australia how we decide who is a refugee and who is not.
The vast majority of these people are not fair income refugees. They're economic migrants, pure and simple.
Australia has tough new policies on asylum seekers and refugees.
2 boats forced back by the Australian Navy towards Indonesia.
The boats have stopped, but the debate has not.
Refugees are welcome here! Refugees, yes! Racism, no!
History will haunt us for the way we've treated these people.
The United Nations Refugee Commissioner expresses profound concerns about Australia's immigration policies.
Those policies are stopping the boats and they are saving lives.
Now 6 ordinary Australians with strong views have volunteered to undertake an extraordinary experiment.
We were shot at by ISIS.
To walk in the footsteps of refugees and asylum seekers.
My future is gone. Where I go?
Volunteering for the 25-day journey, a former Vietnamese boat person.
I was a refugee, but I came here the right way. They're queue jumpers.
A Stop the Boats Facebook campaigner.
Australia is under attack. We already have the terrorists here. We are already living amongst the enemy.
A detention centre whistleblower.
If we don't shut the detention centres, I think there'll be more deaths in custody.
2 sisters with opposing views.
We'll just be overrun with people from other countries.
They're not here to take jobs. They're here to make our society better.
And a tough-talking teacher.
If you let people settle here, more boats will come. It will happen. It has happened.
First, the 6 Australians were immersed with refugee families.
You are an embarrassment to Australia, Kim.
And you are a traitor.
Then they were turned back.
I can't believe we do this. This is bullshit.
And discovered what happens to the most vulnerable refugees.
That is terrible. Those bastards should be stopped.
I'm just so upset.
The refugee journey gets even more confronting.
The baby will die?
They travel to some of the most dangerous places on Earth.
Should there be an explosion, your first reaction should be to put your head down, get down as low as you can.
Then, the front line in the war against ISIS.
We were shot at by ISIS.
Dawn, northern Iraq. The 3 Australians are heading towards the most dangerous country on Earth, Syria. An estimated 200,000 people have been killed there in 4 years of civil war. Millions have fled into neighbouring countries.
Refugee camp. Pretty well organised.
Tent city.
Andrew, Kim and Nicole are retracing the journey of the Mersheds. Now safely settled in Sydney, the stateless Palestinian family fled Syria 4 years ago.
I go to the shopping, some fruit and vegetables, and suddenly the helicopters come, bombing everywhere, and my Muhammad in my home. I run quickly to my house. Bad days. I lived bad days.
The Australians are getting first-hand experience of the conflict that has driven families like the Mersheds from Syria. Villages like these have been all but destroyed by years of fighting between regime and opposition forces.
Their homes?
Yeah.
Oh my God, they've got their stuff inside, like lounges and everything.
The war here has led to one of the biggest humanitarian crises since World War II.
There's people living right here with little children.
From here we can't cross. It's the last point at the road between us and ISIS. They are at that town.
What's your thoughts, Nicole?
Speechless.
The recent fight against ISIS has consumed a country already racked by war.
Hello, pleased to meet you.
The Australians meet local Kurdish militia, who are among those fighting the ISIS forces.
We're from the ISIS in this point 5 kilometers.
They are invited to visit the forward post.
Do we have to go there?
That's your call.
How do we know whether to go or not go?
Well, I mean, we can only give you the advice. It's, as far as we're concerned, it's going to be safe enough.
I keep looking out for the black flag of hate. Who are these guys? It's not ISIS, is it?
I think they wave.
Oh, did you hear that? Bomb. Okay, Nick, get up there.
Nicole, Kim and Andrew are now just 2 kilometres from the front line at the militia's forward post.
Just be careful, they are shooting in by the mortar. It's so dangerous because of that. We are hear something, you should be right away to the wall here.
So run to the wall?
To the wall to protect yourself.
Okay.
From this frontline position, they will glimpse territory belonging to the world's most feared terrorist force.
You can see the flag from here.
The small Syrian town of Al-Rawiya has been occupied by ISIS for 4 months.
At the left, we have a school, a big building. Up the building, we have a black flag.
Black flag of jihad, ISIS's flag.
They are shooting.
Just shooting.
The mortar.
How far away are those mortars?
We should leave here quickly.
Yeah.
It's not safe at all.
The 3 Australians move back behind the lines to the relative safety of the local militia's camp.
Hello. Oh, thank you.
Can you let them know thank you for having us and keeping us safe?
The volunteer fighters are Kurdish. They've already thrown out the brutal Assad regime. Now they fight against ISIS.
And how many deaths have been caused by ISIS within their community? Their community must be very proud of them.
Like the Palestinians, the Kurds are a stateless minority and have endured hundreds of years of persecution. At the start of the journey, Andrew was a vocal supporter of Australia's tough new policies towards asylum seekers and refugees.
People will argue that what we're doing is cruel. I can understand them saying that, because to a degree there is a level of cruelty about it. Because there's this issue, you have to be coldly pragmatic.
Andrew has now come face to face with the realities of war.
Lots of things that I've said back in Australia, because I don't deal with any of this. I'm not living this life, so I'm not dealing with this every day and dealing with the truth of the death and the destruction. I mean, there's a reminder of the death because there's like a big poster on the wall that's got all their friends that have died. So they know the truth of it all. I mean, this is a really serious point I want to make. I think a lot of people on the right, such as myself, have this cold look at the situation because that saves them from dealing with the facts. They can look at it and go, oh, they're queue jumping, oh, they're country shopping, because that allows them to go, well, I don't have to deal with that now because those people are doing the wrong thing. We look at it very coldly and rationally and convince ourselves that that's the right way to look at it. And I think we do that to avoid dealing with the human cost of it all.
The story of the Kurds' battle against ISIS has also affected Kim.
Yeah, I feel quite honoured to be here, and it's a privilege to meet the Kurds. I had such a good time tonight, sitting around and hearing the stories and what's happened to the people and how ISIS has affected their community. I still believe that places have been jeopardised due to the illegal boat people, which is quite sad, because I'd like to see 14,500 people taken out of here.
Don't hug all the blankets.
Don't snore.
I don't.
Considering the first 2 weeks we couldn't be really near each other, honestly.
They're in a room together in the same bed. AK-47 just there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
On the other side of the world, Davy, Jody and Renee have left the slums of Bangladesh for Myanmar, also known as Burma. They're here to retrace Shamsul's journey, who was forced to flee his homeland as a young man. Now the Australians are visiting Shamsul's homeland to discover what life is like for Burma's Rohingya minority. After decades of military rule, democratic Burma is making dramatic improvements. But in the new Burma, anti-Muslim sentiment has become more vocal.
You speak English? No? No one speaks English. Why you protest? Can you tell me why you protest? No?
In the Burmese capital, Yangon, protests like this are common.
Our security is very important for us.
Yes.
And the protection of our religion.
90% of Burma's population is Buddhist.
What are you protecting it from?
From all another different kinds of Islam.
Islam?
We afraid Islam.
Okay.
They are very cruel.
You're protesting because you don't want Islam here?
Yeah.
In recent years, some monks have joined the extremist 969 movement. At protests like this, they claim to protect Buddhist culture.
Look how organised they are.
Thousands of people marching for segregation, marching to exclude Muslims. But based on what Shamsul said, apparently the Buddhists here are extreme, and, well, the fact that they're marching, I'm just shocked that Buddhists aren't what we've always grown up to believe, that they're peaceful, loving people.
In the past 3 years alone, anti-Muslim sentiment has caused 80,000 Rohingya to flee Burma.
The thing I don't get about the rally is that all these monks were so hate-filled.
So maybe they just feel threatened at the fact that there's more Muslim people in the country.
There isn't though, is it? It's predominantly a Buddhist country.
Yeah.
So why are they feeling threatened if they're in the majority?
Buddhism is central to Burmese life, and monks wield great influence. The Australians are granted an audience with high-ranking Buddhist monk Magway Sayadaw, a supporter of the radical 969 movement. They're trying to understand why anti-Muslim sentiment is so strong.
Wara jin matu Buddha ye wara ga do da ko mataya hu Islam ye wara ga leli tatha ko tu do ga apit mashi hu yu fa de afa yi ti ya pyin Buddha bada ga tu do wa thamaya ko kamaya ga ma ju lon ga hu tu do ga ju lon yin apit mashi hu tu do wa aufa ko Buddha bada ga ma kho ya hu.
Before their refugee experience, Jody had strong views of her own about Muslim refugees.
I think it is cultural differences that scare me. How can we trust them? For all we know, they could just be trying to come over here and plot to kill us, drop a bomb.
Now, Jodie has a deeper understanding of oppressed minorities.
Are you aware that the Rohingya are not only not welcome in Myanmar, they're not welcome in Bangladesh?
Rohingya fura ga phunji do 135မျိုးထဲမှာ Rohingya fura မပါဘူးပေါ့နော် Bengali ကိုသာဘုန်းကြီးကပြောနေတာပေါ့နော်
So if they are not considered one of the ethnic groups in Myanmar, where do the Rohingya go?
ဝါရချင်းမတူလို့မြန်မာနိုင်ငံမွေးဖွားတာလည်းမဟုတ်သည့်အတွက်ကြောင့်မြန်မာနိုင်ငံသားအဖြစ်မပြုသင့်ဘူး
I didn't think that I would be standing here defending Muslims against the Buddhists, but the Buddhists tell them they're Bengali. The Bangladeshis don't want them. They don't belong there. They've got nowhere to live, and I think there is hatred for the Muslims. He didn't want to say that, but I definitely think that it's a real hatred situation, and I think that they don't want them to be in Burma at all.
War-torn northern Syria. Just kilometres from the front line, Kim, Nicole and Andrew have come face to face with the terror of war.
We're going around the back way.
They're experiencing the world Amar and his family fled from, along with millions of others. The Kurdish militia are taking them to a village recently won back from ISIS in a pitched battle.
We shouldn't be doing this overnight with night vision.
It's probably more dangerous, I think.
It is still unsafe for locals to return.
So I'm going to check out to make sure this building is empty.
Hundreds of children once attended the local school.
Okay. So this was once a school?
Look, Nicole, look at that. Through the concrete.
An unexploded mortar is yet to be disarmed. The war is still dangerously close.
Coming in, stay down, eh?
Coming in?
They're coming towards us, they're coming towards us.
The Australians learn ISIS forces are less than a kilometre away.
Stay down, real low. Stay down below this wall. So we don't want them to know that we're here. They're just in front of us.
For the Australians, it's a small taste of the chaos and danger of war.
We should move from here.
It's hard to believe that a community used to live here and we were just in a school.
And the mortars in the playground.
Yeah. Just before would have been full of life.
You wonder where they all are now.
We were just shot at by ISIS, and that sounds dramatic, but that actually happened to us, what, 10 minutes ago?
And we had army with us, whereas the people that all this comes through.
Normal people who want to flee.
The Australians have been told to stay put. Like many frontline areas, the village is peppered with landmines.
We've got power out here. I don't know about the water supply, but satellite dishes, yeah.
Do you think people can return home with landmines now built into the ground?
We'd have to check them all out.
Whether the army steps in to give them any help with it, I don't know.
They're not getting any assistance from any outside organisations.
The prospect of civilians returning here anytime soon is remote. The Kurdish militia are on constant high alert. They may have won back control, but they are struggling to keep ISIS from staging another assault. Constant fire keeps ISIS positions in check. Like the civilians who once lived here, the Australians are forced to flee. Burma is a long way from the disastrous conflicts in Syria. But for a nation that follows the peaceful philosophy of Buddhism, the plight of the Rohingya minority is a dark secret. Renee, Jody and Davey are on their way to a secret meeting with a Rohingya woman who lives here incognito. Rohingya aren't allowed into the capital Yangon without government permission.
Hello, I'm Renee.
Wawa lives under a false name. To survive in Yangon, she pretends to be Buddhist.
Can you tell us more about your life in Yangon?
It's very difficult because we have no identity here. We cannot do anything. If we want to work, we want to study, we need identity. Very hard to struggle my life here.
Wawa fled her hometown of Sitwe in Burma's west in fear of anti-Muslim violence.
Is your family still in Sitwe? What is life like for them now?
Very bad. The gate of our house cannot open till now, over nearly 3 years.
3 years? Yes. They're basically under house arrest.
House arrest. The main thing is the health problem. If we suffer, we're sick, and we got temperature, no doctors there, even we got no medicines. People are scared to go to the hospital because no one come back alive from the hospital.
Really?
Wow. Yes, no one come back alive.
No one's ever come back?
No one till now, I can guarantee.
Wow.
The three Australians are now given a rare opportunity to travel to the place from where so many Rohingya flee. Sitwe, the capital of Rakhine State in western Burma. This is home to most of Burma's estimated 1.3 million Rohingya. 20 years ago, Shamsul escaped from here on a refugee journey that ultimately led to Australia. Tens of thousands of Rohingya still escape every year.
It's just police everywhere, sitting there with guns.
Yeah.
I can't figure out what the barbed wire is for, though.
With ongoing anti-Muslim violence, police keep the Buddhist and Muslim populations apart. But it's the Rohingya who live behind the wire. In June 2012, Buddhist mobs attacked local Muslims. 200 people were killed, many hacked to death.
Hello. Hello. I'm Renee.
Yeah.
Hello.
At the ruins of a destroyed mosque, they meet Rohingya elder Ong Win.
What happened here?
Very bad thing happened, very terrible thing happened. In downtown Sitwe, there is 13 Rohingya village was burned down.
13 villages.
13 villages. Like, you know, Holocaust, you know. One of my brother-in-law was shot in front of their family members. Another was, you know, beaten to death.
A staggering 140,000 Rohingya were forced to flee their homes. It was another flare-up in decades of persecution against Burma's Muslim minority.
We met a Rohingya refugee in Sydney in Australia, and he was from Rakhine State, and he fled by boat. How many people are leaving now by boat?
So after 2012 violence, nearly 60,000 people 60,000
60,000 people are leaving. By boat.
Already left.
Since 2012.
Yeah.
Wow.
Many more people will leave to that country because the situation is very bad here. Government is doing nothing here. So for the Rohingya people.
And what about you?
So I am born and brought up here. So now I'm 60 years old, but I'm a non-citizen of this country. What should I do at this point?
In northern Syria, the Australians have escaped the danger of the front line. The Kurdish fighters take them to the nearby town of Serakanye. In 2012, jets and helicopter gunships from the Assad regime attacked this neighborhood, killing dozens.
3 people was killed here when the helicopter bombed here. A lot of people, when they are heard about that, they are run away to the outside the city. And a few people was here when the helicopter bombed here.
Some residents are now trying to return.
So you rebuilt your house?
Yes.
Yeah. And you knew the families?
Yes. Which they are killed?
Yes. Yeah, wow. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I think she shows somewhat empathy for people, but she doesn't want them to come to Australia. She doesn't connect the pieces together, and I don't understand why she doesn't want more asylum seekers in Australia when you've confronted with the problem. I want her to be humane and compassionate more than what she shows now.
That same humanity she shows with every kid on the street.
Thank you very much.
I am sister.
Ah, sister, thank you. Yeah. We stick together, us women, don't we?
I feel as though Kim's compassion ends to a certain degree, and it doesn't continue on for these people if they want to seek safe haven in Australia or another country, and I'm not quite sure why that is, and I'd like to find out where Kim's compassion ends for these people and why.
Yeah, good point.
Australia's tough new stance on refugees has seen the annual intake drop from 20,000 to less than 14,000.
I am compassionate and have empathy and all those normal human feelings. I feel that we as Australia are doing our bit. To the level and extent that Nicole wants is not the same level and extent to how many people I believe we should be taking into the country.
You do love the kids and love the people and really get involved with their stories and really, yeah, you show your empathy and compassion. But part of these people's stories is that many of them, and I suppose we're talking to people that stay, but many of the people who leave have faced exactly the same. They want to leave. They want to find somewhere safe. And we know there's so many millions, and we know we can't help the millions, but 14,000 to me is a really, really small number.
Majority of Australians and myself don't want open borders.
To be honest, I don't think the majority of Australians think like you. I don't think Australia wants people to be left in situations like this and wants an inhumane policy under their name. I just don't believe it.
The refugee journey now takes Andrew, Nicole and Kim to a final dramatic location. They've arrived in the city Amar fled from as a Palestinian refugee over 4 years ago, fearing for his life. Baghdad, Iraq.
I think this is the end. In the same days, I take some little bags and take my family, run away to Syria. I don't know where I'm going, just I want to run away.
It's more than 3 years since the US military withdrew from Iraq. but Baghdad is still one of the most dangerous cities in the world. In 2014, over 3,500 civilians were killed in attacks in the city. The three Australians travelled with former SAS soldier Paul Jordan.
We're going to travel in these 4 armoured vehicles today. They're B6 armoured vehicles. So the reason I'm telling you that is that your safest place in the event of an incident is to stay inside the vehicle. Don't get out of the vehicle. Don't do anything unless the team leader tells you to do so, OK?
Nicole, Kim and Andrew have come here to try and meet Ammar's brother, Bashar.
We're going into a relatively safe area, or as safe as it gets in Baghdad, but only a couple of weeks ago, car bombs were set off in that area, and there's been kidnaps in that location as well. Because your white faces, you're high-value targets for ISIS. All right, any questions?
No.
All right.
Do what you tell us.
Good, OK. Let's saddle up.
So, how much force can this car withstand?
The windows in a certain area can take 6 hits from an AK-47 bullet, OK? So, in other words, we're driving along and we get sprayed by a Kalashnikov, we're fine. Should there be an explosion in our vicinity, your first reaction should be to put your head down, get down as low as you can. If a rocket-propelled grenade was to hit the car, it would open the car up.
In 2014, suicide bombings in Iraq nearly tripled from the previous year.
What happened here?
Vehicle-borne IED, it's a car bomb. There was like 15 people killed who were sitting inside. It's a common occurrence. You can get through a day in Baghdad and not have a vehicle bomb detonate somewhere across the city, then it's probably a good day.
It's too dangerous to meet Bashar at his family home.
It's a bit spooky.
Just stick together, OK? We'll be good.
Instead, the Australians will meet him at a location in the city.
OK, with me?
Oh. No attention, is there?
However, the outsiders immediately stand out. The security team become concerned.
Let's go. We're going somewhere else. Yeah.
The meeting is suddenly off.
Yep. Back to the vehicles. That's wrong.
What happened?
They're not happy.
They're not happy here with us?
No. Yeah.
Why?
We're white. We're white, which means we're American.
Oh, OK, so we have to go?
Yep. The mood has definitely changed here, where once they wanted to speak to people, but now they're frightened.
So that was the people that were worried just because we were there?
Yeah, that's right. They don't want to be associated with any foreigner. There are people watching, there are people looking everywhere. While we were talking to that white person, who is he to you? We increase the risk to them of attack.
I don't really want to do that.
Yeah, no, I don't want to do that either. That would be horrifying.
How lovely that you're targeted today because you're white. Who would ever have thought?
Do you think the Iraqi people want to live like this?
At least they fit in, look-wise.
Do you think the Iraqi people want to live like this?
Like I said, we can't. What are we going to do? Get every fucking military in Australia and evacuate the people out of Baghdad because it's not a good feel?
We can't just do nothing.
I think at the end of the day, we keep a big, strong foothold on our borders in Australia and we protect our own soil.
And leave everyone else in the world to live in shit. I'm so lucky to live in Australia. Oh my God, I don't want it to change, so screw the rest of the world.
It's not about that.
In Western Burma, Jody, Renee and Davey are experiencing the plight of the Rohingya. The ethnic minority of more than 1 million people is stuck in a country that doesn't want them.
These are they from washing or are they from toilet?
No, this is drainage, you know.
Drainage.
Use water.
Ong Win is taking them to one of the many makeshift camps for internally displaced people.
What are these?
These are the IDP people.
Holy crap.
Living here, you know.
An estimated 140,000 people are forced to live in camps like this. Food and clean water are all in short supply. Médecins Sans Frontières were expelled from the region last year. There are no aid agencies.
Are people dying here in these camps?
Yeah. Maybe because of the malnutrition and the tuberculosis. When MSF is present here, so they can control the malaria disease here.
Yeah.
The elderly and the young are the most vulnerable. A young mother approaches the Australians for help.
Baby is normally born, but after a few days, he was infected.
Is the infection improving? Is it getting better?
Yeah,
or is the baby getting worse?
In 3 days, worsening daily after day after.
So what's going to happen to this baby?
Nothing.
Nothing. The baby will die?
Maybe one way that to die. No physician, no doctor here.
It's okay. Wrap him up.
Can't do anything to help it, really.
You're in pain? Oh, you poor thing, eh? You're in pain?
I didn't really understand the actual problem that these people are facing and the magnitude of the problem. And being here today, I'm glad I have. I actually understand now how these people are struggling, the hardship, and also the fact is that it's really hard. I'm just...
Davey was just a child when his parents put him on a refugee boat to Australia. Now, he's understanding his own past so much better.
I struggle with my life. I always go to bed every night asking why. Why my dad would put me on this boat to come to Australia. And I guess now I can see why he did that. He sacrificed to give me a future. He sacrificed so that one day I can turn out to be someone. Now I can see the reason why he did that.
Davey, Jody and Renee spend a final day witnessing the plight of Burma's Rohingya minority. They've seen how the young are especially vulnerable in IDP camps. So too are the old and infirm.
Alhamdulillah, Allah rahmat karo Allah mojhe rakho yatam boshi gori do karam bi aramati bade rakho.
She's praying for you.
She's praying for me.
Yeah.
Oh Allah mojhe mosyo daro kuda adja dure di chakuda. Oh Allah mojhe gender la kuda lalla shokuya.
I just had to walk away.
How can she pray for my daughters?
I just had to walk away because I couldn't. It's heartbreaking to see that.
I don't get why some of them get nothing.
And yet the poor things there, got no bloody supply, no one to look after it.
They're still people. I'd never heard of the word Rohingya. I haven't even heard of the places we've been to. The biggest thing I've taken from this experience is maybe not to be so selfish of the great country that I live in. If Shamsul walked in right now, I would probably just apologise for being so harsh with him, and I wasn't very understanding because I didn't understand.
In Baghdad, the security team has organised a safer meeting with Amar's brother. This time at a secure hotel compound.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Nice to meet you.
How are you?
Hello. I am Bashar.
Kim.
Ammar, brother.
I know, you look like just like him.
You do.
Nice to meet you.
Back in Sydney, Ammar expressed deep fears for his brother and family and what the future holds.
I tried to talk with my brother. Just move as the people's move from Iraq to Turkey, or... She said, I can't.
Up. Yeah.
I can't. And any day, I picked the phone that said, your brother's dying. I can't do nothing for him.
He, maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks, he called me. Because the difficult days now, he always called. Because he had very worried about it.
Bashar lives with his wife and 3 daughters. For ordinary Iraqis, life is bad enough, but for Palestinians, it's worse. They're subject to arbitrary arrest, detention, kidnapping, torture, and even murder.
There is no job, only eating, sleeping, internet, TV. This is the life, which you can see.
You're resigned to it, aren't you? It's just how it is.
The future here is a stop. You don't have a future for you or for your family. You must think to leave this if you want to make future. If you stay here, there is no future. You must think to leave this country.
Have you thought where you'd go? Like, if you want to leave Iraq, have you thought where you would go?
I want to go to Ammar, to Australia. I hope to go there.
Because he's there?
Because I miss him too much. But it's difficult now, they stop the visa.
Under new Australian policies, it's much harder for refugees like Ammar, who came by boat, to sponsor family members to Australia.
Ammar came by boat. What did you think of that?
No, I don't like it because it's difficult for him. But in Sydney, it's better for him. You saw it's better for him or not?
Absolutely.
The Australians have brought a video message from Ammar. It's 4 years now since Bashar last saw his brother.
عليكم السلام.
جدا مشتاقين لك ابو هشام. احنا تعرف ايش بدنا نعمل لك. ما فينا ندعي لك الله سبحانه وتعالى يسهل امرك. لك شقد محتاجين لك وشقد محتاجين لمشورتك ونحل مشاكلنا بس الله سبحانه وتعالى يهون. الحياة صعبة، الحياة صعبة بدون اخ. شقيل وحمد واحد يفضل. الحمد لله على كل حال.
Thank you for this surprise. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Last moment.
Lovely to meet you.
Thank you very much.
I wish that family all the best. Would you welcome him if he came by boat?
No.
So you can't really wish them all the best because that's all they want in the world. That's all they want.
I know, but we can't move everybody out of Baghdad either.
I know, but how can you stand there and wish their family all the best when all they want is to be reunited? And there's no way that that's going to happen. And he lives in daily fear every day. I don't understand how you can wish their family all the best when they live with that over their head. If he came to Australia any way that you deem as illegal, even though technically it's not, you wouldn't accept him. And I don't understand.
Because it's taking up the places that could be taken by the people that come through the camps.
He's not taking the place of someone coming through the camps. The
So where
government's
they
decided
structure
to do that so they can say, oh, look at us, aren't we doing the right thing by stopping boats? You could have, we'll take 20,000 or 30,000 plus whoever arrived by boat. Doesn't make any real difference to Australia. It makes a hell of a lot of difference to these people.
After their harrowing 25-day journey, the Australians are reunited in Cambodia. The small Asian nation is one of the poorest countries in the world. This is where Australia is hoping to export its refugee problem. The policy aims to prevent any boat person from ever setting foot on Australian soil.
I said at the start of this journey that your views may be challenged, confirmed, or completely changed. Now, let's take stock.
My views were always that Australia needs to show more compassion, and the fact that the devastating things that I've seen, it's reconfirmed my views.
You're critical of the Stop the Boats policy. But if that policy was changed, wouldn't people continue to get on boats and die at sea?
The fact that people come on boats shows that they're absolutely desperate. The fact that they've actually come to our door and said, can you help me? I think at that point you say, well, you're here. You don't send them off to a third world country like Cambodia.
My opinion, if anything, has become stronger. It's just validated that we need to continue to stop the boats and to protect Australia.
I mean, I've learned a bit from both Renee and Kim. I think Renee and Kim are quite extreme on both sides of the fence that Kim talks about, and I think you've got to engage appropriately with both groups, sensibly. And I'm not talking about sitting in the middle, I'm not. But I think to get a better policy and to help these people who are seeking asylum, you have to think clearly about it. Not that Renee's not, but Kim doesn't think clearly about it. But, you know, you have to be talking to both groups to get a solution. Otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere. We're not going to achieve anything.
Davey, after this 25 days, do you feel like you've got a greater insight into why your father put you on that boat?
That was a very dangerous journey, and I still remember it every single day of my life. I have nightmares about it. I'm traumatized about it. But now I realise that they put me on a boat so that I can have a future. And I'm grateful for that, for the opportunity to be able to grow up in Australia and to have a life that I have today.
Andrew, you've been accused of being indecisive. At the end of your journey, where do you stand?
People say I was indecisive, but no, I literally changed my mind. I saw the facts for myself and went, no, what I thought before this was wrong. I don't know where you draw the line, but I know 14,000 is way too few people. Like, regardless what you say, whether you say 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, 100,000, there's always going to be, but what about the next person? But any number is better than 14,000.
Jodie, tell me about your experience.
I'm a typical Aussie girl, selfish, proud of my country, didn't want to share it with others. And I didn't understand the refugee and asylum seeker struggles. The journey that I've been on, it's really opened my eyes to this problem. I'm definitely more compassionate, and I think that we do need help, and Australia needs to let more people in.
And how do you feel about having shifted your position?
I feel good. I feel like a better person. I think I probably came across as a very heartless, naive, selfish person. And I'd like to think that I've grown and learnt so much that I can take with me and maybe make a difference.